All right, so I figured the best way that I could explain my issue is to just do a screen recording of it. So the final output of what my maps are is it's a 3D thing like this. It's layered. And the issue that I have is you can see that there's all these roads and names of towns and stuff engraved onto the wood itself. If we go into Illustrator, we can see this is all of the roads and cities and buildings, sites, and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to do is if we selected everything, let's just work with everything that's just red right here. We'll just group that right there. Copy that, move that onto, let's say that this 5 over here, this is my 5th layer, my 5th level. We want that, but the problem is, let me turn off some of this extra stuff in there. We have a cutout, so or we want let's work with 4, right? So we take this layer. Let's just make a new one over here just to make this easy. Take 4, paste it on there. Take 5. Paste it in there. We'll turn these off. Let's turn that off, and we'll just... Okay, so this is the outline. This would be on layer 4. This is what I want stuff to... This is what I want the red to engrave on. So if we copied this, pasted this on this layer. So what my problem is, if we take this, we'll get rid of the stroke, and it's just a fill. Okay, so my issue was that this was not a compound path. It is a compound path now. So if we take this blue layer, the land layer, and the roads, and we'll make a clipping mask out of it, yes. So everything looks the way it's supposed to be, but the problem is when you print it, I have already saved this as a PDF. If we go to my PDF, because this is what I used to print or to send to the laser with PDFs. So inside the PDF, everything looks good. If we went print and we made this the laser printer. So as you can see, in the raster engrave, everything shows up the way it would be, but I don't want to do that because it would take forever. If just an idea is if I was to actually raster this at 252 dots per inch or lines per inch, this would take me 14 minutes just to do this little 8 by 6.5 inch thing. Way too long. But then if you go over to the vector side where it's only cutting along the line rather than line by line by line by line, everything is still on there, and that is not what I want to do. So if we jump back over to Illustrator, if we go to clipping mask, we don't, flatten transparency, I'm sorry. So make it all vectors, and we do not want to convert it. We want everything to remain a path. And then we go OK. So everything is a path, but we still have, everything is, these still exist, but they're just hidden inside the clipping mask. So I found that if we outline everything, it gets rid of all of the paths that were outside of what I didn't want. And we just make this red again. So then we're fine. This is where we want to be, but I would just have to go through, ungroup this. I would have to go through and where all of these edges are, where the borders between layers 4 and layers 5 would be. You would have to go through and, delete these one at a time. But if we save this as PDF, and then blah, 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 save PDF. All right, cool. Now let's go to layer 2. Go to print this. Pop open the laser, which is not connected to this computer, by the way, but that's fine. So as you can see, the vector cut, we are now where we need to be. If we just ran this, it would take 2 minutes, right? So 2 minutes compared to 14, a big difference. And that's including these outlines. But I don't want those because the laser is going to go along these lines anyway and cut them out on the outside of it. So it'd just be a waste of time, and I'm trying to make it go faster. So go back into Illustrator. We undo all of this stuff that I have done. And we'll clipping mask. Okay, cool. So we're back where we started. Now if we do the flattened transparency again, but this time we're going to convert all strokes to outlines. And that leaves us exactly where we need to go. And then we save this as number 3. Save PDF. Pop open number 3. And if we print this out, still don't have, so still vectoring everything, which is bad. We don't want that, so we need to go back. Crop. We can crop it. All right, so this is cool. This is what we wanted, but then the issue is all my single strokes have now turned into, you know, shapes, an outlined shape, which basically if we made it into outlines, which is what the vector is doing, we now have a double stroke around everything, which doubles my time. Save that. Print this guy out again. And as remember, 204 is the amount of time it would take to vector the old way, and that was even with the outlines there. But let's just estimate this out. So 51 seconds, but that's not what I wanted. But it's going to go around everything twice, which is going to give me a lot less crisp cutting, or a lot less crisp engraving in my laser. So basically, I want my final output to be this, but to remain as a single stroke path instead of a double outline like that. So if there's any way in Illustrator to do this, this would, and like a quick way, that would save me a lot of time and a lot of unnecessary lasering. So if anyone knows what to do, let me know. Thanks.